All set? All right, we are going to call the meeting to order at this time. If I can have our students lead us through our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. At this time, if I can call up our town clerk, Mrs. Larkin, for the swearing in of our board members.
Good evening, everyone. Could I have the board members please stand and raise your right hands? You solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut, and you'll faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as the Southington Board of Education members to the best of your ability, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to congratulate all of you. Welcome Mr. Brown back, and welcome Mr. White to the board.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So at this time, I'd like to call for nominations for chairperson of the Board of Education. Mr. Darrenowski?
Yes, I'd like to put the name of Zaya Oshana as a name for chairman of the Board of Ed.
Okay, thank you. Any other nominations? Mr. Pachewski?
I'd like to make a nomination, not to belabor the issue, but again, the definition of a chairperson of a board like ours is someone who can manage a meeting. And I think that's something being said in such a simplest means of terms here. The person I'd like to nominate is Colleen Clark. And not just because she could run a meeting, but the fact that she's been such a good friend, she's been such a mentor to myself, to other board members, to people coming up through the ranks of this board. And again, I'm so proud of what we've been able to accomplish and just the level of integrity that she continues to have. Again, I'm honored to serve on your side. So again, I'd like to nominate Colleen.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for board chairperson? Okay, hearing none. Mrs. Blanchard, we are going to do a vote by roll call that the person voting will state the name of their nominee of choice.
Colleen Clark.
Mr. Oshana.
Mr. Oshana.
Mr. Carson.
Colleen Clark.
Mr. Darrenowski.
Zaya Oshana.
Mr. Oshana. Oh, sorry.
Zaya Oshana. It's Oshana.
Mr. Whitehead.
Mrs. Clark.
Mr. Williams.
Mrs. Clark.
Oh, it's to me, myself, Colleen Clark.
5 for Mrs. Clark and 4 for.
Congratulations.
This is a very contentious time for us. It has been, and I'd like to see the contention stop. I would like us all to work together. I am humbled, I am grateful, and I also promise to all of you that I will do my absolute very best to represent the board well and the students of Southington as well. So thank you. We'll now open the floor for nominations for the vice chair. Mrs. Carmody?
Yes, in the spirit of bipartisan leadership and to the second highest vote getter, I nominate Zaya Oshana for vice chair.
Do I have any other nominations? Mr. Carson?
Good evening, administration, fellow board members, students, teachers, and Southington families. It is with my utmost pride and support that I hereby nominate Jasper Williams to serve as vice chairperson of the Southington Board of Education for the ensuing 2-year term spanning 2024 and 25. Having demonstrated a high level of personal and professional integrity throughout his service to the town of Southington, and being privy to Jasper's commitment as a family man, veteran in good standing, and conservative voice among us, I am confident his leadership will successfully guide this board and the aspirations of our school system, both now and into the future. With that said, my nomination is for Mr. Jasper Williams as vice chair.
Here, here.
Do I have any others? Hearing none, Mrs. Blanchard, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bashesky.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Brown.
Zay Oshana.
Mrs. Carmen.
Say Oshana.
Mr. Carson.
Mr. Williams?
Mr. Gianowski.
Mr. Oshana.
Shana.
Zay Oshana.
Mr. Whitehead.
Jasper Williams.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Williams.
And Mrs. Clark.
Jasper Williams. Congratulations, Mr. Williams. A few words,
No,
Mr.
just I'm humbled. Thank you for the support. And again, echoing Ms. Clark's words, right? I look forward to working together, working across the aisle. I understand the concern for bipartisanship. I think we all want to move together. We function well as a board. We represent the town. We were voted to represent the town, and that's got to be all of our commitment, so.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And now I'd like to call for nominations for secretary.
Madam Chair, I'd like to nominate Joseph Bakzuski for the position of Board Secretary. Joe is now serving his 4th term on the Board of Education and has consistently demonstrated unwavering character and dedication to our board's mission. His commitment is a testament to his sense of responsibility. It's crucial that all board members and especially board officers be of good character and uphold the highest standards of integrity. As a person of character, we can trust Joe to faithfully execute the duties of secretary and ensure transparency in our proceedings.
Do I have any other motions? Hearing none, could you do a roll call?
Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry, who'd you nominate, Joe?
Joe.
Joe, yes. Joe Bashevsky. I was
Mrs. Carmen.
thinking.
Joe.
Mr. Carson.
Joe?
Mr. Gianowski.
Joe.
Mr. Oshana.
Joe.
Mr. Whitehead.
Joe.
Mr. Williams.
Joe?
Mrs. Clark.
Mr. Bajewski.
I find it
You have to vote,
delightful.
you have to vote, you have to vote.
Joseph Bachevsky.
Oh, yeah, really?
But I just love that everybody feels comfortable to say Joe. I love it, guys. This is a family.
Congratulations, sir. We're going to take a little recess in just a moment. I just wanted to say congratulations to everyone and welcome to our newer board members. Delighted that we all get to work together. I just wanted to remind everyone that if you need to do something, you need to work through the superintendent and the assistant superintendent for questions, concerns, please copy me on whatever it is you're doing so that I have an idea, a heads up as to what it is you're looking for or interested in or questioning or whatever. I'm going to be asking each of you for committees that you want to be on. If you want to continue on your current, for the newer members, I will tell you what the committees are, and then you can decide which ones you're going to be on. And that's about it. Do you have something? Oh, you've got,
We do have one other item, maybe when you come back from recess.
okay. All right, so we'll take a 2-minute recess so we can say goodbye to our families, because unless you guys want to stay for the night, which I kind of doubt. So we'll take a 2-minute recess and we'll say goodbye, and then we'll come back. Okay, is everybody back? Mr. Darrenowski? Okay. Okay. We're going to resume the meeting. I would ask for a moment of silence in memory of William Boyles, who passed away on November 4th. Mr. Boyles taught social studies and history at Southington High School from 1977 until his retirement in 2004. So a moment of silence for him, please. Thank you. Mr. Oshana,
Yes,
do you have a
Madam Chair,
motion?
I'd like to make a motion to move item 9A1 to item 6E1 and 9A2 to item 6E2.
Okay. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. It's 9A1. Oh, oh, it's Mrs. Carmody. Mrs. Carmody was the second. Okay. Okay. Next item on the agenda, looking for an approval of the minutes of October the 26th.
So moved.
Second?
Oh, 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 okay, I'm sorry. Did we? Didn't- All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. So I'm looking now for a motion for the minutes of October the 26th.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Abstention?
Abstention? Did you want to abstain?
Abstention here.
Okay, 2 abstentions. First up on the communications from our student reps.
Good evening, board, and all those in attendance. I hope you're all doing well. I know we discussed a survey for the start of the year a couple meetings ago, and we finally have those results for you guys. So we sent out a survey to the students about the school environment and their thoughts on block scheduling and the new year, and 1,234 people responded. Approximately 97% of the students said they felt welcome at the school. 88% felt that they were connected to the school community. 87% felt like they had a trusted adult to talk to. 97% felt like the staff members that they interacted with cared about them. And 70% of the students liked the block scheduling. Now, although these results are promising, we do hope to bring up these numbers and make the school a better place for everyone and not just the majority. So we're working on that currently.
Hello, board. This is the school report. Students in Italian classes went on the Italy trip on November 3rd and had a great time visiting architectural marvels, beautiful cities, and meeting new people. The 2023 Cyber Knights FTC scrimmage and FLL qualifying event will be hosted Saturday, November 18th at the Apollo Middle School. We wish the best of luck to all the teams participating, and we look forward to the competition. Next week, the annual homecoming dance and pep rally will be taking place on Friday. The week will be full of fun Spirit Week activities leading up to the event, and we hope everyone attends these events and has a blast. The marching band did an amazing at Nationals last week as they placed second in the nation. Huge congratulations to all those in marching bands, and we are so proud of you. The SHS Veterans Concert happened last night at 7 p.m. and was a great success. Culture Night will be held in the main cafeteria on November 30th at 4:30 to 5:30. We will have food, dance, and other activities from a wide range of culture. And here are the sports reports. The SHS girls volleyball team won the CCC Conference Championship, defeating Bristol Central High School 3-0 last Saturday night to win the conference title for the second consecutive season. The team takes a 21-1 record into tonight's CIAC Class LL State Tournament second round match versus Staples tonight at home at 6 p.m. A victory tonight and the team will advance to the state quarterfinals at home Saturday night again at 6 p.m. The girls swimming and diving team also won the CCC Conference Championship meet and continued their postseason activities competing in the CIAC Class LL Diving Championship this evening with Sheehan High School as the host site in Wallingford.
All right, and now moving on to our district report. It's a little longer than normal, so brace yourself. Um, So from DePaulo, students at DePaulo participated in a variety of activities for Veterans Day. Aside from learning about why we celebrate Veterans Day, some students interviewed a veteran, and other students wrote letters through Operation Gratitude to either a veteran, a new recruit, a soldier currently serving, or a wounded warrior. Some of these letters will be sent to the VA hospital in Newington. DePaulo finished their fall sports last week. Some notable accomplishments include the boys soccer team having an undefeated season and the boys cross country team finishing third in the state meet. DePaulo students in the Animal Helpers program had their first trip to the Leaf Farm last week, where they learned about how to care for some of the farm animals. And last Thursday, library leaders from both Kennedy and DePaulo had a field trip to the public library for their first leadership training. Teen librarians spoke to the students about library programming and even hosted a stained glass program and library scavenger hunt. Students also toured the library and were able to sign one of the new library beams. From Thalberg, since COVID, maintaining the courtyard at Thalberg has been a challenge. There was a lot of overgrowth and it was not a usable space for students. Mrs. Natris and one of her teachers, Mrs. Conley, have made it a project to transform the space so all students at Thalberg can benefit. Donators chose to fully fund the project to provide updated seating and umbrellas for shade. We have some great ideas moving forward to have an outdoor classroom and sensory walk to go along with the previously established raised gardens that are used for curriculum integration. In addition to parent and student volunteers, the local companies have also volunteered their time and resources to get this project off the ground. So thank you to Patterson Land Cleaning, Palace Power Washing, Clean Cut Stump Grinding, and HQ Landscaping. We are very excited about this courtyard transformation, and we are very thankful to the time, efforts, and materials that have been contributed so far. From JFK, thank you to our local Southington veteran, Wayne White, Steve Pintarich, and Lou Urso, who presented to our students this afternoon. We are thankful for their service to our country and their willingness to share their stories to the students. JFK is excited to invite veterans who are family members of our JFK students to a special presentation and concert on Monday, on November 14th at 9:15 a.m. Our band and music students will feature patriotic songs in honor of those who served in our country. After the presentation, students and their invited veterans can enjoy light refreshments in our media center. JFK and DePaulo families are invited to attend Family Middle School Math Night on November 15th from 6 to 7 at DePaulo Middle School. There will be different math activities offered for each grade levels, and it's a wonderful opportunity for families to become familiar with the math curriculum at the schools and have fun. JFK 8th graders participated in a series of grit and wit activities last week. The entire backfield of JFK was transformed into a course of 17 physical and mental challenges for the students, and they worked in teams to complete the courses. Even though the weather was dreary, everybody enjoyed the experience. And lastly, from Kelly, on Wednesday, November 8th, Kelly Elementary School held their annual Veterans Day program. Staff and students hosted approximately 50 veteran family members of a Kelly School students, as well as local Southington veterans. Their program included a breakfast for the veterans and 5 fifth grade students reading What is a Veteran essays, and a slideshow featuring information on each branch of the military, as well as pictures of the veterans in attendance and other members of our Kelly School community who have served our great country. Kelly School 4th graders performed a patriotic song, and the program ended with a very moving white table ceremony on stage. That afternoon, Kelly School students and staff lined the school driveway for their Veterans Car Parade. Veterans drove through the school's front driveway, being cheered on by everyone, and the cars included several members of a Veterans Corvette Club, and they all had such a great time as they drove through even twice. It was truly a special day at Kelly School as staff continued their commitment to educate all students on the importance of Veterans Day and honor all of those who have served. That's all for the report. Let us know if you have any questions, and thank you to all the veterans for your service.
Okay. Yes, Sean?
Real quick, what time is the Cyber Nights practice at DePaulo?
So it's gonna be like an all-day event. It starts early in the morning, and it's gonna, like, I'm not sure exactly what time. I don't have it written down, but I think it's around like 10 o'clock, and it goes on.
It runs until 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, if you got there between 9 and 3, you'd catch,
Okay.
any portion of it.
And that's on the 18th,
Yep, the
correct?
18th.
Okay, thank you.
That's the same day you guys are going to be at the CABE
Yep.
CAPS conference?
Yeah.
So there'll be student reps at the conference that day.
Okay.
Did you have a question? Anybody? The math night was the 15th, and is that both schools together?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the math night is on the 15th, and it's both DePaulo and Kennedy schools, and it's from 6 to 7.
Okay, so I could learn something, in other words?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, good. Okay, just checking. All right, thank you. Any other? Okay. Moving right along, board communications, anyone? Mrs. Carmody?
Yes, last week, Mr. O'Shannah, myself and Mr. Madansky attended the business luncheon, advisory luncheon. I can't tell you how we appreciate the businesses in town that work with our students to help them judging and getting them ready for competition, the FPLA and DECA, a wonderful organization. The officers of each club spoke. And of course, we had a luncheon with our new chef, whose name escapes me right now. Tell me what it,
Mr. Orsted.
yes. It was wonderful. And the kids are going to do well, as they hope to. So we were very happy to be there. I don't know if Zaya wants to say anything.
No, it was a great program.
Great
Every time
program,
these students get up and speak about what they've done and what their organization is doing.
Right.
And how they're growing and how they're recruiting new members and the successes they're having at the state and at the regional, state, and national conferences, just awfully impressive. And
And if-
our future is in good hands with people
Right,
like
and
that.
if any board members would like to, and I will get you the dates, when they are in competition, would like to go and be judges, it's just a great experience to do that. It used to be held at AquaTurf. I don't know if they're still doing it at AquaTurf. They never gave us a place.
They didn't give us a location.
They didn't give us a place. But if you're interested, please let us know, okay? Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Mr. Williams?
Yeah, if I could. So I just want to take a moment, right, be remiss not to, and I guess kind of echoing on what some of the students were saying as well, right? Veterans Day is on Saturday. I've heard a lot of positive feedback from many parents who were excited to be able to take part in some of the veterans activities that we have at the school. Personally, as a veteran, I really appreciate all the effort that our district puts into those events. I can remember being a small kid, and I have to think that I remember every one of those events at my own school, and I have to think that that's probably where, planted the seed for me to be interested in joining the service myself. So I just think it's an awesome opportunity. It's good for the community that we recognize our veterans and their service, and also their families. So thank you. It's a good program.
Okay. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Anyone else? No? Okay. Oh, Mr. Brown?
Yes. I want to first congratulate all the other board members for getting elected to the Board of Education. I'm actually excited. People tell me I'm crazy to be excited to come to a Board of Education meeting, but I am, to serve again in return, and especially to help find ways to better serve the students of our town and their educations. There are a couple of goals I would like to express, and some of this you said in your opening comment. First, I've always viewed this board as different from other boards in that our primary focus is on providing quality education to every student who shows up at our doors. Second, in what is nationally and locally a toxic political situation, I am hopeful we can move past that and become a model of collaboration and problem solving. When I knocked doors, I heard more than anything else, the public was tired of political fighting and dysfunction and wanted us to work more collaboratively to benefit our town and our citizens' lives. I'd also like to do some school visits, which I've done before. I've actually talked to Cecil already, and we're going to go and do some schools together. Anyone else who wants to go, although I think more than two at a time is too intimidating, but I'd like to stay in touch with people and find out what's going on, and things have changed in the last 2 years, I'm sure, so. And it'll be over a period of time. It's not like we're going to spend 2 weeks solid doing it. I want to also give a shout out to James. James and I had a nice conversation last night. Oh, there's James, yes. Wonderful conversation last night, and you're a class act, you are. You're a compassionate person and a good person, and very gracious person. And I wish you all the luck in the world. You didn't have to do what you did last night, and I thought it was wonderful to have that conversation. Last, as many of you know, this past year was the most difficult year of my life. My wife had a severe stroke over a year ago. It was actually a year ago in a week. Tuesday was our anniversary. And then she was hospitalized for 5 months before passing away. Add to that the trauma and death of a dear friend's husband, another former teacher, Gail Dorfler. Her husband passed away recently. And this past week, the passing of a very dear friend Terry and I knew so well and loved him. Bill Boyles and his students loved him. like I've never seen before for a teacher. Very compassionate, wonderful human being. I'm thrilled now to be able to serve again and pursue my lifelong passion, which is educating young people. I call it the noble profession and always will. I believe that to be true to my core. This fills my heart. So thank you. Excited to be here.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Mr. Brown. Mr. O'Shana?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback a little bit off of what Mr. Brown just said. I mean, first, congratulations to everybody. Anybody that's willing to put their name on a ballot these days, and to go out there and campaign and stand up for what they believe in and say what they believe in and take the hits, you gotta respect them. And I respect everybody on this board. I respect everybody that ran for this board, for the town council, for the finance board, for any board that there is out there in this toxic political environment that we have. I've done this for a long time. I started doing some work in public service when I think I was 14 with my father and my Uncle Bob, and it's been, since then, I'm very old, and I've been doing it a lot of years. This has got to be the worst campaign season I've ever seen in my life. It was disgusting, it was hateful, it was mean, it was personal attacks, and it's just, we're better than that. This is Southington. I mean, my God, we're friends, we're neighbors, our kids went to school together, right? We went to school together in a lot of cases. We had teachers that are sitting here. And we're here to try to make this community better for our kids and our grandkids. We're not curing cancer or solving world hunger. We're trying to make Southington a better place to live and a better place to raise our family. I just hope that, and we've heard it a couple times tonight, that the horribleness is over and we get back together and try to do what's right for Southington, what's right for the town, and that we are able to have disagreements and conversations where our opinions may differ. But in the end, for this board, we're here to help the district. We're here to help the school system and make it better for the kids so that they can get ready for their next stage of their life. I think if we could model that behavior up here and the other boards and commissions in this town, it might be a good thing for the students to be able to see this and for you guys to bring this back. And I don't know if you guys talk about politics at all at school. If you do, God bless you, you shouldn't. Because it's not, it's at least this time of year, it's not a lot of fun. But it is good, and nobody should get turned off by this. I mean, people have said to us, I'm sure we've all heard this, why in God's name are you doing this again? Well, one, because it's the right thing, and somebody needs to do it. And it's not politics, it's public service. And I think that's just, I had this conversation a lot this past week. I just hope we can get back to the way that it was. Political discourse is a good thing. You could have disagreements, and you could have respectful arguments with each other and come up with what is going to end up being a much better decision than one opinion, always. My opinion isn't always right. Just ask my wife, she'll tell you that. But when you have people having these conversations, you come up with a really good answer in the end. So I'm looking forward to Southington becoming Southington again and not a town where, because I don't agree with you, I have to hate you. So that's all.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Mr. Medancy, back to
Okay.
you.
So going third, I think a lot of what has already been shouted out and praised tonight. Speaking for the Southington High School Marching Band, I think it's been quite a run the past few weeks between the music of the night, then state champs, second out of 16 teams, and then going on in that same venue up at the Meadowlands, 5th out of 55 bands in total at the national level.
Yep.
Capped off last night by a beautiful veterans concert. So you have, I put at each of your seats tonight, a band patch. That is the veterans' way of thanking the Southington High School Marching Band for hosting that concert each year. So that's a patch that they put on their band jackets. And along the line of veterans, it's been said here, very well said, it was, for me, a wonderful day going from school to school today. And more importantly than just the celebrations and the pomp and circumstance and everything else, I want our kids to know why they're not in school tomorrow. It's not just a day off. There's a reason why we honor our veterans, for the service, for the courage, and for the history that goes into all of the sacrifices that folks have made, they need to understand that, because these things can get lost quickly in this day and age when you have a day off and you just move on and go about your business. So I was happy with a lot of the lessons that I saw going on in the schools today to try and make it real for kids to understand what a lot of our veterans have gone through and what sacrifices they made. That's what I took from today, and I was super thankful for our Legion partners. They were across, Ms. Steve Pintrick and I think we crossed paths, 6 or 7 times between last night and today, and he swore to me he was going home after the last assembly at Kennedy. So it is something this town should be very proud of. The inaugural event is the 18th, all day. We talked about that, 9 to 3. One of the things I talked with you all about in my goals is highlighting the positivity. I think it's really easy to look at what people are not happy with, but I think we want to spend our time looking at what is going well. And 2 pieces that I have to share with you. Just this past Tuesday, we had Channel 8 come to the agricultural science program at the high school, and they did a segment on what's right in schools. And so we all know about the agricultural science program. We talk about the learning experiences that are in the programs offered there. We know what the enrollment has ballooned in recent years because of the quality of the program. So that's going to air Tuesday the 21st at 6 a.m. and then all day on Channel 8. So they'll be highlighting that Southington program. And then also we had just this past week, the Record Journal, and they will be doing this all year. We're highlighting teachers in Southington. And so our Southington High School Teacher of the Year, Megan Scan, was highlighted in the Record Journal this past week. We talk about the teachers. Why did you become a teacher? What do you love about teaching? What do you want your parents to know about you as a teacher? What was your favorite book? And so they've passed that along. We're going to highlight a teacher from every school in Southington this year. So we had our first one. They're going to be highlighting on the 28th. They're going to be highlighting December 26th. They're going to be highlighting on January 23rd. And those are the dates I have right now from them. But as they highlight those teachers, I'll make sure to include those updates in my weekly updates to all of you so you can see the great things that are happening. This announcement, Mr. Risser is probably just as excited as I am to hear the light poles are in at the Southington girls softball field.
Yes.
So,
Awesome.
I want to thank, the town council, the town manager, Mr. Risser, Mr. Romano, just this board for that collective effort in trying to secure the funding. We know that the referendum didn't go our way and the project was by the wayside for a while, but the town found a way to get it done. And I think it's pretty fitting that the girls softball team, who holds the national record for the most state championships won, finally gets to play under the lights.
Yay.
Right? So, long overdue. And then the last announcement, this is something the board will become very involved with over the next couple months, the legislation around the entry age for kindergarten students. And so we've surveyed all of our families that are in the early learning centers, the preschools, in our own preschools, and out of our average enrollment of 420 students, there will be 125 families that are impacted by this legislation. Right? And so that's a pretty big impact, and it creates 2 problems. One, we know there are not that many seats that are going to be available for what we call pre-K 5-year-olds next year because there's already a crunch for seats for just the 3 and 4-year-olds prior to this legislation. So we're trying to work to figure out what an expanded pre-K program could look like in our Southington schools. So there's some thoughts about what would happen if we had attrition in our kindergarten enrollment with some staff that could be repurposed to be pre-K 5 preschool classes so that when we administer the screening that the state requires and you give a recommendation to a family that their child could benefit from the gift of time, that doesn't just come with a bill for them to find childcare for their family, for their child for another year or preschool seat that may be hard to come by. Instead, it comes with an alternative. With that gift of time that we're recommending, we want to try and offer pre-K 5 half-day programming. And then I've met with 5 community funders that are very interested in creating subsidies through the Early Childhood Collaborative for the remainder, the other half of the day, for 5 days a week of preschool and childcare with transportation for families. So we're not just going to say, sorry, we don't think your child is ready, good luck to you. I think the spirit of this law is what are the foundational elements these students need to be ready to enter and be successful? Not just start as 4-year-olds because of the hardship placed on families with the cost of preschool and childcare these days. Give them that gift of time that developmentally they may need, but then set them up with success with the assets that we can provide through developmental play, through phonics, through language, through social skills, so that when they enter as 5-year-olds, no longer as the younger 4-year-olds, they're going to have the same opportunities and the same chance at success that the 5-year-olds have. looking at the data, we know that for third grade data, the term they use is burr babies, September, October, December, right? Burr babies do lag behind their older peers in achievement data in third grade. And we know a lot of that is developmental. You know, it's not necessarily a sign for long-term outcomes, but it is a sign of how easy or difficult school could be for some students early on. And we do know that can spell out a difference in long-term outcomes for students. So I'm working with that. I plan on holding an informational meeting for all of our Burr baby families on December 7th at DePaulo Middle School, because I want to start to talk to them now, because I'm sure many are nervous about if I apply to enter early and you screen my child and you say they are not ready, then what am I going to do? I want to share with them that we're trying to come up with some creative programming to support their babies as well, so that at the end of the day, the spirit of the law is implemented the way it was intended to be. There are some districts that are saying anybody that writes in, we're just going to let them come in. That's not the spirit of that law. The law was intended because they know some students are lagging behind. We are one of the last states in the nation to make this change in the kindergarten entry age. We are the last.
We are the last. yeah.
So that's not what the spirit of this law was intended to do. It was intended to give our students every chance to succeed when they start in kindergarten. So what we also want to make sure we do is for the students that may not have had the same advantages in preschool, quality childcare, high levels of language spoken in the home, background life experiences, those are going to be all assets that students will come to a screening with an advantage. We want to make sure that whatever we use to screen our child, we try to minimize any subjectivity, any bias that could occur in any type of opportunity for students, and really just try to identify what are the skills or assets that the child has or needs, and then how can we individually help either of those families, whether they're 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds. So that's going to be a big lift for us. It'll be an agenda item for you in the future once I have a more concrete and defined plan with funding, with what the screening looks like, with what our staffing levels may look like based on kindergarten enrollment, and then we'll make some decisions about where we can offer the programming, if we can offer the programming, and what community funding we might be able to secure. So I just wanted to share that publicly through the administrative report, for the board, because it is going to be a big part of our conversations in the next couple months, and also because I know a lot in the community are very anxious and curious about what the options might be.
Mr. Brown, you had a question?
Yeah, I know there's state money for some pre-K programs, probably more in the inner cities and stuff. But are you examining that, and if there's money we can get?
So it's kind of like Head Start funds, and it's not available it's really available for families that apply based on need, but it's not for preschool programming in public schools. So I have also written to our legislation, the local delegation, about trying to seek subsidy funds through the legislative session to try and offset costs to local municipalities. And so, because I do think there needs to be some funding that comes with this. And so the Office of Early Childhood or the State Department of Education, I'm hoping that there's a sponsored bill that comes out of the committees through either of those agencies to help support this financially for districts and for families.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
And Superintendent, just so I'm clear, and again, in sharing with our families as you take this on and flesh this out, and I appreciate your holistic, creative approach to this. Obviously, being someone that is akin to laws and legislation, oftentimes the spirit of a bill or legislation gets lost in the process, right? Because it just becomes words on a piece of paper. So with that said, my understanding of the legislation is that the screening that you spoke of, they've basically, the state has parsed that out to each and every district to fashion and design a screening process that works for their community. Am I correct in stating that?
I can go into a lot more detail about the legislation and the screening and all that if this was an agenda item. Tonight I was really just sharing out on a preliminary plan. But the guidance from the state is to develop a standardized measuring instrument, and yes, it is left to only municipalities, so it will vary across towns, what it
Okay.
will look like.
Fantastic, great, thank you.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay. Moving along, public communication regarding agenda items only. Does anyone have anything? Beth, you want to, please state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Seth Korn, 8 Yorktown Road. Before my time starts, hopefully, I love the idea of highlighting teachers. I hope we also highlight some of our support team, our school counselors and school psychologists as well, and happy School Psychologist Week. So, Madam Chair, Board of Ed members, Superintendent Medancy, and your administrative team, first, I want to congratulate you on being elected to the Board of Education. I am Seth Korn. I'm a parent of a current and a future Kelly Elementary School student. I come today with the hope of creating and developing a partnership with this board and its administrative team. You have been or will be presented the first reading of the Southington Public School Capital Improvement Plan for your consideration. I would like to focus on the elementary school's facility project and its delay until the 25-26 year. Over the past year, I've attended the parent forums, read all the reports, attended Board of Ed meetings, reached out to Mr. Medancy personally to ask questions and get clarification about this project, and get clarification for this vital project, for our children, our school community, and our town as a whole. I hope this board can come to a consensus on the need for this project to be completed sooner rather than later than the proposed 25-26 year, and make it a priority. A few months ago, elementary school students were dismissed from school early because of unhealthy learning conditions due to severe heat, resulting in loss of instructional time. Furthermore, play structures at Kelly School have been recently dismantled because they were deemed unsafe for our children. To reference CABE and Southington Board of Education Policy 6161.3, comparability of services. The Board of Education believes that at all times its schools should be equally as well equipped and maintained. The current condition of Kelly School is not upholding this policy and legal requirement, putting this district at risk for losing state and federal funding. Before making any decision on this capital improvement plan, let's work together. Invite our new town council, finance committee members, town manager, and our local state representatives to take tours of Kelly Elementary, Flanders, Darrenowski Elementary Schools, and visit their classrooms. Seeing the actual buildings will change your decision on the proposed capital improvement plan and the decision to delay this project further. The time is now to proceed with one of the proposals presented by SLAM to the previous Board of Education. I ask the chair and those Board of Ed members that will be on the district-wide facilities committee to convene a meeting to finalize the elementary school project and put forth a grant application to the state by June of 2024 this year. I truly, truly want to collaborate and work with this board to see this project through. It is in the best interest of our students and community. Kelly School is long past its lifespan. I am extending my hand and hoping you are willing to work together. I am ready and willing to continue the conversation now, following this meeting and in weeks and months to come. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Seth. Anyone else from the public wish to speak about an agenda item? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Oshana, do you have a motion for us?
Did you move items up?
Yeah, we moved 2 items up.
Sure. I'd like to move.
No, we moved them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we did move them, so we don't have to. Do you want to make a motion for them? Yeah.
So move to approve the SHS wrestling team out-of-state overnight field trip to Lowell, Massachusetts, as presented by administration.
Second?
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And I'd like to move to approve the SHS wrestling team out-of-state overnight field trip to Plainstow, if I'm saying that correctly, New Hampshire, as presented by administration.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion's pass. Okay. Next on the agenda is the personnel report.
Yes, recommend that the Board of Education approve the personnel report as submitted by the Human Resource Department.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion approved. Next item, town government communications. Mr. Medancy? I don't either. Okay. Next up, we have policy.
Yeah, move that the Board of Education approve policy 3542.1 as presented by the Policy and Personnel Committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain from that one.
Same, okay. Next, Mrs. Carmody?
I will try to do this correctly, Mrs. Clark.
That would be lovely, thank you.
Move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Comprehensive Learning Center, formerly Achieve, Art Shop curriculum as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mrs. Carmody?
Continuing, move that the Board of Education approve the SHS Computer Science course proposal as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
One more, I think. Move that the Board of Education approve SHS Accelerated Biology, Unit 3, Cell Energetics, as presented by the Curriculum and Instruction Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motions are approved. Okay. Turning to you, Mr. Medancy.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark. So tonight before you, you have a first read of our capital improvement plan, which spans from 24-25 to 28-29. Given that it's a first reading, I ask that you take time to review it. If you have questions regarding anything on the plan, you certainly can send them to me, and I will apprise the full board of the questions and the answers that you may have. If I don't know the answers, Mrs. Mellett, Mr. Fickle, Mr. Shoda, if I have to reach out to the council leadership, I will, to continue any conversations regarding items and their timelines established within.
Okay. Understand? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Public communications from anyone in the public about anything. You can come up to the podium. Please give your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Jenny Droza, 558 Churchill Street. I'd like to speak about the controversy that was surrounding the book Native Son that was recently in the newspaper, as a former student who graduated Southington High School in 2012. I've been thinking back to when I read Native Son in 10th grade. I found that while the book wasn't my favorite from English class, it was an important part of my growth and instruction at school. While the book has challenging themes, it is significant for the variety of topics that can be discussed. The passage in question is a small part that didn't have a lasting impact on me. Recently reviewing it, I found that the content wouldn't have even been shocking when I was 15 years old. I remember hearing more explicit conversation and jokes from my peers when I was in middle school, much earlier. This controversy has done more to highlight a small passage in a book that would otherwise have been forgotten. Ultimately, I don't have an issue with the unabridged version of Native Son, which is the one that I read. It's an important American novel, which, while challenging, does facilitate discourse, which I find essential to English class. As any review of the book continues, please take this into account and remember that life is challenging and complex, and it's important that books on the curriculum reflect that.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Seeing none? Mr. Darrenowski?
Still too early. Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Time for the cookies.
This is close to a record.